My name is Dedra. When I first heard about this room, I was shocked that I was actively doing something that was similar to the pill method unknowingly. I refinanced prior to learning about the pill method with the decision to pay off my mortgage within 2 years. I have purchased your book, Don. Thank you very much. I have not read it yet. I previously heard you say that there is a smart way to pay off the mortgage. So I think like there's some type of schedule. So I saved like $800 on my mortgage
Mm-hmm.
after refinancing.
Mm-hmm.
I still pay that $800 into my new refinance mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, I'm paying an additional $6,000 a month to my mortgage
Okay.
every month.
Okay.
So I am trending to pay it off in 2 years. What my fear is, though, I don't know if the accelerated rate that I'm paying it off is going to hurt me in the long run. And also, I've heard that after you pay off your mortgage, your credit score drops. And that's a fear of mine because, I've worked hard to build my credit up and I haven't let it stop me. There's just a fear at the end of the tunnel of paying the mortgage off in 2 years. And if I'm doing it in accelerated rate, and if at the end of it, is it a smart decision?
Okay, now here's what we're talking about. First of all, when you say paying it off, will it hurt me in the long run? Are you talking specifically about credit score dropping, or are you talking about something else as well? How do you
Well,
believe it can hurt you in the long run? And I can talk about that specifically.
well, I've heard you say that there's a smart way to pay it off, meaning like there are certain dates that will be better. If you were to make the payment on this day, you'll save a little bit more in points or interest. And I don't know how to do any of that. So I'm just on the date that my mortgage is due. I
Mm-hmm.
pay the regular payment with the additional 800 that I was saving from the
Mm-hmm.
refinance, and then an additional 6,000.
So here's what I'm going to do using the example that I have on the screen, and I will explain it to you right now. Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
there is a thing called paying too much. All right. So we don't want to violate the law of diminished return. Okay. So there is a point at which more is too much, even on anything.
Okay.
So listen, there's some folks that love jerk chicken, but you put too much jerk seasoning on the chicken, nobody wants to eat it.
Ooh,
There's a
you gotta
point
be
at which
careful.
more is too much. All right. We got folks making sorrow right now. Am I calling your name out there, Kurt?
Yes,
We
you
got
are.
folks. There's
Right
a point in
now.
which some of the main ingredients you put too much in, nobody gonna drink it. So what we're talking about here, I've got an example on the screen that I could do very quickly. So I've got two examples here. When we're going to prepay $6,570.22 and save about $9,800 in interest if we do that, or we can prepay 13,000 and save about $19,000 in interest and knock off 24 payments. So if people have the money, they say, well, shoot, if I've got the money, and money is no object, let me do the 13,000 and save 19,000 and then knock off 24 payments. So let's put this on the screen. I'm going to pull this up. And so if we can save 9,000, I'm going to put this in $9,827.18. Okay. And if I
Okay.
prepay $6,500, that means I can figure out how much interest I'm saving per dollar. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to divide that by $6,500 because that's what I'm paying. 6570.22. That's how much I'm prepaying. So that means I'm saving $1.49 for every dollar. It's almost $1.50. Okay. It's 1.497. So the bank will round that up to $1.50. Okay. So I'm saving about
Okay.
$1.50 for every dollar. So that's a pretty good return on your money. I pay $1 here. I don't have to pay $1.50 in interest to the bank. So, Miss Dedra, if you gave me $1 and I gave you back $1.50, how many times would you do that?
As many times as I possibly can.
Exactly. So the bank has to do the same thing. If you put $1 on principal at this point, then they have to not charge you $1.50. Doggone it. That's 150% return on the money. I love that. Okay. So
Hmm.
now we're going to take a look at line 24 here. and we're going to save $19,447.75, and we're going to divide it by the $13,347 that we're paying. 13,347.05. All right, how much are we saving per dollar now? Ooh, $1.45. So let me ask you something. If you could save $1.50 for every dollar you apply, should you ever accept $1.45 for every dollar you apply?
No.
Exactly. So when you're putting that money on your loan, you want to know exactly how much interest I'm saving per dollar and stop. Pay this much and no more at this particular time, so you'll know exactly how much interest you're saving per dollar, and then take the remaining portion of that money and invest it into wealth creation. There's a point at which we need to stop putting money towards debt reduction and paying it off fast. Can I give you another quick story?
Yes, please.
All right. I had a guy here in Huntsville. I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and there are more engineers here per capita than any other place in the world, practically. And this engineer, he's making more money now than he was when he first started with us 5 or 6 years ago. And because of that, the program was telling him he's going to now be able to pay off his mortgage. He has $260,000 left. He's going to be able to pay it off in 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he's only going to pay $16,000 in interest. Ooh, he said, that's great. And I said, you're paying off your loan too fast and you're not paying enough interest. He says, what do you mean? I thought that was the idea. I said, let's take $2,000 out of your budget. Let's tell the program you're making $2,000 a month less. Let the program recalculate and see what happens. So when the program recalculated, it says now you're going to be out of debt in 6.5 years, and now you're going to pay $20,000 in interest. He says, Don, that's worse. It's taking me longer, and now I got to pay 20 grand instead of 16 grand. I said, yes, but now what just happened here? Let's take a look at the whole story. For you to get out of debt in 3.5 years, we have to put that $2,000 back into your budget. Okay, for 3.5 years. 3 years is 36 months, correct?
Correct.
Another 6 months, that's 42 months. So that's 42 months that he has to put $2,000 back in. That's a total of $84,000, right?
Right.
To save an additional $4,000 in interest, to bring it back from 20,000 back down to 16,000. He's putting his money on 84 grand just to save $4,000 in interest. I asked him,
wow.
Is that how you want to spend your money? Guess what he said?
What?
Heck to the no, but he didn't say it that way. All right.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.